Fire for your mind. Kosher-clinician. Hit that like button and share this stream if you're not a beta male.
Evan Samuels missed this core talking point in expecting men to pay all of the bills.
I want her to respect your masculinity and your manhood because you have an XY chromosome. It don't work that way. Women respect resources. You can't check a bitch because you got nothing to check with. The only place you dominate is in the bedroom. Dominate on the balance sheet. Dominate on your wallet, which is your accomplishments. Any woman that you choose to deal with, her money should be no good with you if you're 100% man. You pay everything.
I didn't agree 100% with everything Kevin said. I don't believe men should pay all bills unless that man is getting something in return. If he's getting a higher value, a higher quality woman in return, yes, pay all bills. But you gotta understand, Kevin Samuels at one time was a simp, and I'm not saying this to denigrate Kevin, but Kevin will tell you that Kevin went from being a simp to being a multi-millionaire, high-value man. Kevin went from being a simp to a multi-value, high-value man. And so Kevin Samuels was not raised in a home where he had a father like a version of himself. But what's happening there, women like LisaRaye, some of these older women that have either had kids or ran through, they want to tell men, they want men to pay all the bills. And, Kevin Samuels was a brilliant man. I love Kevin Samuels. But
how can women, LisaRaye, before they get married, are there any telltale signs that you can warn women who are dating wealthy men what they can look out for in case he is involved in some shady financial scams?
First of all, he's not going to let you know, because a real man is just like a drug dealer. The girlfriend don't know about his drop off and his people that he get his supply from. He keeps her out of that because that's the man's thing. That's his position. Let me tell you, I have, had a drug dealer or two, back in my day. And I didn't know and ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I can't tell you. And one of the officers that questioned me was like, well, you didn't see him getting up going to work every day. I said, I don't see you getting up going to work every day either. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean you ain't working. You know what I mean? Maybe I did turn the other cheek or whatever. Yeah, okay, I did know. But still, I had never seen anything. You know what I mean? So that therefore, I could never be in the middle of anything. And I'm sure he thought about that. If they question you, you ain't gonna even be able to say anything because you ain't never seen nothing. You kept me out of it. So your businessman is the same thing. They're not gonna let you know so that you under pressure and you gotta tell. No, I'm gonna keep you out of it, period. So it's protection is how they're thinking about it.
For your time, because being a content creator it's hard. It's not an easy job. So it's definitely psychological manipulation. It's what the current culture is telling men they should do. But masculine men don't let women tell them what the standard is. She become what the standard is. And if she don't become the standard, then that's fine. That man keep going on to the next woman. That's why I get perturbed when I hear some people say level up. I say level up for what? Now, should a man level up for himself and level up for what's best for him? And, leveling up to put himself in a position to get the best woman that he can get, and the best woman that he can get based on standards that are symmetrical to what he worked in, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But leveling up for whores and leveling up for ran through women and leveling up for women that got kids by other men, what am I leveling up for? What am I leveling? Because let me tell you something, people, like what my father got back in the day.
I dey go ball without you. I just say bye, then I miss you. Wanna control what I do. She's such a beauty with issues. Baby, we can make it so simple right now, yeah. Something in your past must be weighing you down. So your attitude, they be bossy. Feeling like the past, keep on pulling back. Baby, me no longer the old me. I'd do anything just to hold you. Maybe you too bossy. I just wanna hear you say you want me. You know how to get me with that body. Baby, keep it simple. I'm on you to boss it, boss it. Girl, we go way back. Can't treat the love like a payback. Working on the trust, so I get that. Nothing come close to my baby. You've been through a lot, hate to see you down, down, yeah. Only thing that matter is we got now. So your attitude, they be bossy. Feeling like the past, keep on pulling back. Baby, be no longer the old me. I'd do anything just to hold you. Maybe you boss it, boss it. I just wanna hear you say you want me, want me. You know how to get me with that body, body. Baby, keep it simple, you do boss it, boss it. Maybe you do boss it, boss it. I just wanna hear you say you want me, want me. You know how to get me with that body, body. Baby, keep it simple, you do boss it, boss it.
My addiction, this beauty nothing compares. She put me under her spell, yeah.
Fire for your mind. Kosher-clinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues, absent fathers who miss you, mama drama don't kiss you, all a part of the ritual, this is how they get you, separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to, damn, lovers, haters acting like vultures, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is Socio-economic. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Socio-economic. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Socio-economic. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Socio-economic. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Guys, we're gonna have a good show on today. Not gonna be before you guys long, but I want to have a very powerful conversation, guys, and this is gonna be very important for a myriad of reasons. And the topic of discussion is, or was, or is, it's a concept called introjection. I've talked about it before in the past, but introjection exposed what Kevin Samuels didn't know about this truth. A lot of young men have been impacted negatively over the percentage of men that their mothers got with, and their mothers getting with these or those men impacted these boys in a very negative way. Introjection is an ego defense mechanism. Many black boys go through, and white boys that don't have their fathers go through ego defense mechanisms where they tend to over-identify with the mother. And as I said before in this clip, guys, I got nothing but high regard and respect for Kevin Samuels. He did a marvelous job becoming the person that he was. But with all men, I don't agree with all men and every man's talking points, and I'm sure all men don't agree with my talking points. I'm okay with that. But I believe that Kevin Samuels, in his attempt, when he was trying to say that men should pay all bills, was noble. It was a very noble attempt. But I think it was highly problematic because it was not nuanced enough. When you more or less tell men to pay all bills, it becomes problematic if it's not based in what's called fair exchange. Because in healthy relationships, there's a concept called fair exchange. Fair exchange, there is no robbery. You guys know I've talked about something a long time ago. I've talked about the violation of the social contract and how the violation of the social contract have impacted families. It's impacted children. It's impacted boys. And also it has impacted men. There are little girls out here that never knew what it was like to have their father. So therefore, they may overcompensate where they try to prove themselves and they see everything masculine is bad and they have trust issues. Boys that never knew their father, they tend to overcompensate by trying to appease the woman in their life. And we're going to break this thing down psychologically. But this thing is twofold, guys. It's twofold. It's a presumption just because Kevin Samuels said men should pay all bills. They thought that Kevin Samuels meant that men should pay all bills for older women. And that's not what Kevin was saying. When Kevin was saying pay all bills, even though I don't agree with that, unless it's certain conditions, he's talking about paying all bills for younger women. Now watch this. Kevin Samuels, if he was alive, would never marry a woman as old as LisaRaye. I'm not knocking LisaRaye for having standards. That's her right. If she wants a man to pay all bills and that's what she thinks she deserves, fine. I don't think she deserves it. Because LisaRaye is not giving a man fair exchange, in my opinion. What LisaRaye is giving a man is social market value based on what she thinks she makes and what she feels like she can contribute. But I don't believe that a man should pay all bills because paying all bills have never benefited a man unless he's getting everything that he wants. Only a small percentage of women should get all bills paid. I didn't say women should get some bills paid, but when you talk about all bills, that means that you're a 5-star recruit. And most modern women are not 5 stars. So there is a percentage of women that qualify for that kind of high service. But see, the problem people get into when they come down to paying all bills is the presumption that if I pay all bills, she's going to respect me and I'm going to have leverage. But you have no leverage in an American-based marriage. You have no true leverage. Because at any time, if she get tired of you, she got the power and she can take everything that you got. So truthfully, paying all bills does not guarantee loyalty. A man's masculinity should never be based solely on a man having to pay all bills. Am I saying that should a man pay bills? Yes, I don't have a problem with that. But should a man pay all bills? I will argue no. And I will argue that Kevin Samuels was a victim of an ego defense mechanism called introjection, where he saw things through the lens of his mother. He saw things through the lens of women. And even though Kevin Samuels was evolving into the brilliant man that he was, Kevin Samuels, like many young boys and many young men that don't have fathers, missed the mark because he saw the importance of what a woman should have instead of understanding that even though you might pay all bills, what is the fair exchange? And we're going to get into it, guys. So let me play this clip, guys. Hit the like button, guys, and donate to the channel. It took a lot of time to put this together. And if you really like what I'm doing, guys, donate to the channel and hit the like button. So let me add this. Hold on. And we're going to break this thing down, and we're going to break it down clinically, too. I'm going to look at the clips first, and then we're going to break this thing down clinically, all right?
Why Kevin Samuels missed this core talking point in expecting men to pay all of the bills.
I want her to respect your masculinity and your manhood because you have an XY chromosome. It don't work that way. Women respect resources. You can't check a bitch because you got nothing to check with. The only place you dominate.
Now, Kevin is right when it comes down to having money. It's leverage when it comes down to power. But what happens if you lose your job or you lose your power? Does she stop respecting you as a man? If a woman's sole respect for you as a man is only solely based on the money that you give to her, then that's no longer a marriage. That's prostitution. And I'm going to explain why. A marriage says for better or for worse. That's what a marriage say. If y'all believe that, hit 1. A marriage is for better or for worse. That's a marriage. If you believe it, I need you to hit 1. But prostitution says it's quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. As long as you're paying bills, I'll listen. That's not a marriage. That's like saying if a woman stopped being pretty, does that man still love her? If a woman stopped being pretty, does that mean that man provide for his woman? If a woman stopped being pretty, does that man give that woman what she needs? If that woman has a double mastectomy due to cancer, doesn't mean that that man stopped loving her. Because if you want to judge a man based on his ability to pay bills, which is fine, then as that woman's beauty is declining, then the man should stop paying bills. Because therefore the fair exchange is no longer in place because she's getting older, he's getting older, but his money is going higher. So I will argue if that's the case, then it's not a marriage, it's prostitution. Because a woman's devotion to her husband is not solely based on his monetary attainment, even though money is important, even though having money can have leverage. But I think because of Kevin's upbringing, even though he was genuine, I think Kevin was a victim of a concept, an ego defense mechanism that I talk about. Some boys struggle with an undoing, but Kevin was a victim of an ego defense mechanism called introjection, something that I talk about all the time.
Dominate is in the bedroom. Dominate on the balance sheet. Dominate on your wallet, which is your accomplishments. Any woman that you choose to deal with, her money should be no good with you if you're 100% man. You pay everything.
And I'm going to show you guys psychologically in a minute, even though Kevin meant well, but I'm going to show you psychologically why Kevin was wrong fundamentally. I'm going to show you why he was wrong in his assessment about men paying all bills. It's going to make a lot of sense. He was genuine, but he was genuinely wrong. I didn't agree 100% with everything Kevin said. I don't believe men should pay all bills unless that man is getting something in return. If he's getting a higher value, a higher quality woman in return, yes, pay all bills. But you got to understand, Kevin Samuels at one time was and see, once again, a higher quality woman in return, which was the standard by which what men got years ago. The standard by what men got years ago was a higher quality woman. That's what the standard was. That's what the standard was. A higher quality woman, that was what the standard was. But see, boys that are raised in homes without fathers, I'm going to break it down, have an ego defense mechanism, once again, called introjection. And that's why, guys, you got to look at it through the lens of fairness and relationship symmetry versus looking at it through the lens of what society say. Once again, Kevin was a good man, and I agree on a lot of his talking points, many of his talking points. But I would say fundamentally, he missed the mark on this one, not because he wasn't trying, but due to his conditioning. We call it nature and nurture. Hold tight. And I'm not saying this to denigrate Kevin, but Kevin will tell you that Kevin went from being a simp to being a multi-millionaire, high-value man. Kevin went from being a simp to a multi-value, high-value man. And so Kevin Samuels was not raised in a home where he had a father like a version of himself. But what's happening there, women like LisaRaye, some of these older women, they've either had kids or ran through, they want to tell men, they want men to pay all the bills. And, Kevin Samuels was a brilliant man. I love Kevin Samuels. But
how can women, LisaRaye, before they get married?
So once again, I don't know what this person, Majestic, either Majestic, you sort of slow, or you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm not piecemealing context of a platform to spark my own, sir. I don't need to do that. If you're not a clinical therapist, you don't understand ego defense mechanisms, you're only responding on an illogical response. What I'm clearly saying is this: if you will listen, and if you understand what I'm trying to talk about, maybe you don't, but if you stick around, I will convey it to you. It has nothing to do with piecemealing anything. And that's one of the fundamental problems that's wrong with some of the men in our community. They don't have a comprehensive knowledge. They don't listen. They don't listen to understand. They only listen to respond. No man's going to agree 100% with all men and what we say. I don't expect every man to agree with me. The only thing that I'm saying is that I don't believe fundamentally that no man should pay all bills. Men that believe that many times were introjected, or they saw things through the lens of their mother. That's all I'm saying. And I'm going to prove it to you. Only certain percentages of women deserve all bills paid. Now, if a man want to do that, that's his business. I will argue that that man is selling himself short because the standard is low. And I'm going to break it down clinically in a few minutes why that standard is so low. The standard is so low because a lot of men now don't have fathers. They don't see things through the lens of fatherhood. Kevin Samuels was extremely brilliant, but Kevin Samuels did not grow up with a father. Kevin Samuels even said he was a simp at one point. And Kevin Samuels also said that He told me he would never be a baby daddy again or be a stepfather. That's what Kevin said. So I don't know what you mean by piecemealing context of a platform to spark. You sound ignorant, sir, if you're not listening to the total context of what I'm saying. Because now you're taking pieces of what I'm saying without looking at it in its totality. You're looking at it from an emotional response. So let's get back into it, guys. And so LisaRaye made a lot of headline because LisaRaye, being an older woman, said that a man should pay all bills. And what I'm saying is that if that's what she wants, if a man wants to do it, that's his business. But no man should pay all bills for a woman like LisaRaye. I don't believe that men should do that. And once again, Kevin himself will have never paid all bills for a woman like LisaRaye. As Kevin was leveling up, Kevin's position was to pay all bills for younger, fit, feminine, cooperative women. That was his standard. The only thing I differ with Kevin fundamentally was expecting men to pay all bills. Also, where I disagree with Kevin fundamentally was black men coming back to the table and dealing with most American women. Are there good diamonds in the rough? Yes, there's some great women that are diamonds in the rough, but it's rare and it's far and few in between. And so even Kevin, before he passed, was beginning to change his mind and telling men to start to explore and to also to look abroad. That's what Kevin was saying. And so LisaRaye made a lot of headline more recently when LisaRaye went about and said that LisaRaye said that she wanted a man to pay all bills. So you got what's called a dichotomy of thought. You got older women like LisaRaye expecting men to pay all bills, but LisaRaye is an older woman. LisaRaye cannot ask for the same asking price as a younger woman. Are there men that will pay all bills? Yes, because most black men don't have any standards. They don't have any standards. They have very low standards, and many times they see things through the lens of the women in their lives, their mothers, their aunts, their grandmothers and whatnot, because we live in a very gynocratic culture. And so once again, while Kevin was genuine in his response, Kevin was psychologically impaired, like a lot of men are psychologically impaired, because they don't see things through the lens of heteronormative masculinity. They don't see things through the lens of men doing what's best for them. They see things through the lens and the acculturation of a woman. And once again, LisaRaye made a lot of headline here lately, and we're going to get into it, guys, in a minute. Hold tight.
Are there any telltale signs that you can warn women who are dating wealthy men what they can look out for in case he is involved in some shady financial scams?
First of all, he's not going to let you know, because a real man is just like a drug dealer. The girlfriend don't know about his drop off and his people that he get his supply from. He keeps her out of.
And so it says LisaRaye warning women to marry rich men. But once again, what is a man getting in return? Listen, guys, the gold standard back in the day was wife ready, no kids. Wife ready, no kids. Virgin, emotional regulation. And she was willing to live her life for the sole duty of her husband. You don't get that now. So Kevin began to evolve as a man. As men get older, they evolve. But for women, there are some older women trying to use the backdoor method, and they still think that they should have the same rights and virtues as a younger woman or a young woman with no kids, wife ready, emotional regulation, mature, and not ran through. The social contract was to procure yourself for your husband. That's what the social contract was. Social contract was to procure yourself for your husband. But now you got a generation of boys that think emotionally. They don't think through logic. They think through the lens of their feelings, because they don't see things through a comprehensive lens. They see things through an emotional lens, and they see things through the lens of their mother. And that's a problem.
That, because that's the man's thing. That's his position. Let me tell you, I have, had a drug dealer or two, back in my day. And
now, if you think LisaRaye, LisaRaye want a man to pay all bills, and she want a rich man. But LisaRaye beauty is declining. LisaRaye's definitely not a virgin. LisaRaye's probably had a lot of men. LisaRaye, I don't know if she got kids or not. And LisaRaye is not conditioned to more or less probably follow a masculine man's lead. But LisaRaye want a man to pay full price like a traditional man. So the problem in America, guys, is that they expect traditional masculinity while they remain modern. That's the major problem. Traditional masculinity while they remain modern. And that's why these relationships are so messed up and highly cantankerous. Traditional masculinity while they remain modern. And that's a problem. Traditional masculinity is that I get what I want, she get what she wants. But once again, there are some that said, or assume just because Kevin say pay all bills, that Kevin add no nuance to it. While I don't believe that fundamentally, if a man got money and is working hard, I don't believe a man should do that fundamentally. But I think there are some women that qualify for that. But as I said earlier, if you think that having money alone will make that woman respect you as a man, then what happens when you lose your money? There are men that got with women for far less. And we're not saying that money is not a prerequisite to being a competent man. But if you believe in things do duty first, if you believe in loyalty, if you believe that a woman should love her husband in spite of his monetary attainment, then if that man loses his job, do you still love him? Is his masculinity diminished because he lost his job? Or does that woman say, I'm going to love you in spite of because I married you based on my wedding vows? So, yeah, money gives you leverage, but it doesn't give you 100% leverage because of the court system that we live in. And on the end, I'm going to explain to you guys how introjection have impacted a lot of boys and men.
I didn't know and ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I can't tell you. And one of the officers that questioned me was like, well, you didn't see him getting up, going to work every day. I said, I don't see you getting up, going to work every day either. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean you ain't working. You know what I mean? Maybe I did turn the other cheek or whatever. Yeah, okay, I did know. But still, I had never seen anything. You know what I mean? So that therefore, I could never be in the middle of anything. And I'm sure he thought about that. If they question you, you ain't gonna even be able to say anything because you ain't never seen nothing. You kept me out of it. So your businessman is the same thing. They're not gonna let you know so that you under pressure and you gotta tell. No, I'm gonna keep you out of it, period. So it's protection is how they're thinking about it.
For your time, because being a content creator it's hard. It's not an easy job. So it's definitely psychological manipulation. It's what the current culture is telling men they should do. But masculine men don't let women tell them what the standard is. She become what the standard is. And that's the problem fundamentally. Now with modern masculinity, it's always under the gate of what a woman wants. Look at all the men that paid all bills. I know men in my practice where men pay all bills. They don't get respect 100%. Most women have been imprinted by multiple men. They've been imprinted, and you got a generation of men that don't see things through the lens of of masculine excellence, meaning they don't demand the best in women. Women still demand the best in men, and they got a right to do that, but men don't demand the best in women because we get our approval from a woman's perspective and getting our approval from that of a man. And that's why things get so skewed. So once again, I do respect Kevin highly. Once again, those that are intelligent versus those that are slow, if they listen, they'll understand what I'm saying. But once again, you got a generation of men that don't think comprehensively. They think through the lens of emotionality. They don't sit back and think about what you're saying. They make false accusations, and they don't understand what you're talking about because they have not been trained to think from a comprehensive level. So women like LisaRaye and women like many modern women think that by default, you got to act a certain way, or you got to put your masculinity is always performative without nuance. And if you don't act a certain way, therefore, you don't deserve to be respected by a man. But once again, how's that fair exchange? And no one can answer that. So Kevin was right. If you're a masculine man making money, and what Kevin was basically saying is that Kevin Samuels would have never married LisaRaye. But Kevin Samuels would have got with a younger woman. My only fundamental flaw with Kevin is that I don't think a man should pay all bills unless that woman is a higher tier woman. That's my point. Not all bills. If you're not a virgin, wife-ready, emotional regulation, no kids, then that woman, a man should either pay 100% of the bills or he should strive. But everything else can be negotiated. And definitely not paying all bills if I was a single man for a woman my age or older, I'm not paying all bills for no woman my age. What is she giving me? She can't give me youthfulness or fertility anymore. And that's the problem that a lot of men don't look at, because a lot of men have not been conditioned to demand more. It is. And if she don't become the standard, then that's fine. That man keep going on to the next woman. That's why I get perturbed when I hear some people say level up. I say level up for what? Now, should a man level up for himself and level up for what's best for him, and leveling up to put himself in a position to get the best woman that he can get, and the best woman that he can get based on standards that are symmetrical to what he worked in? Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But leveling up for whores and leveling up for ran through women and leveling up for women that got kids by other men, what am I leveling up for? What am I leveling? Because let me tell you something, people, like what my father got back in the day. All right, so let me show you guys something. Now, LisaRaye, of course, did find a man to marry her. She found a lucky bloke to marry her. LisaRaye got a man to put a ring on it. Bless his heart. I would have never done it. And LisaRaye is not an ugly woman. She's a pretty woman, very pretty woman, even though she's an older pretty woman. But if I was a man with money and status and power, I would never marry LisaRaye. If I'm going to pay premium price, then I'm going to pay premium price for a younger, fit woman, no kids, wife ready, can follow my program. She has to be mature also. And I know what I'm talking about because some of Kevin Samuel's friends, they married younger women. But I just don't believe in paying all bills. I do believe in paying some, but I'm not paying all bills if you don't meet those standards that I'm looking for. And that's how men should begin to operate. So LisaRaye found a man who could afford her. See, LisaRaye is riding dirty, guys. LisaRaye is riding dirty. LisaRaye is an old woman, an older woman. She's almost 60 years old. She's a grandmom. But, some will call this brother, I'm not calling, but some will call this brother a simp. Because you're marrying an old woman that can't give you kids. She can't bear his last name. We know she's had a lot of fun in her younger years. And 9 times out of 10, she's been imprinted. So guess what happens? She's going to get bored of this man at some point, probably divorce him, and still think she deserves the best. And that's the kind of delusion that we're dealing with. So LisaRaye found a man who could afford her. He put a ring on it, and she's off the market. You got a grandmom off the market at 60 years old, 59 to 60 years old, and they're so delusional because they think that they are better than men. Are women the prize? Yes and no. She's the prize if that man deems her to be his prize, but she's not the prize by default. Men and women both have prize-worthy virtues. The man is the master prize. He's the one that is the arbiter of marriage. The woman is his special prize. But Kevin Samuels was not telling men to marry old women like LisaRaye, because Kevin Samuels was a multimillionaire. And in him being a multimillionaire, he got with younger women. Kevin got with younger women. And some of his friends married and dated younger women. So Kevin wasn't advocating for men to pay full price for old women or older women, especially if those men want to have more children. But see, they don't care about the fair value for men and what men want. They only think that their beauty is continuous and beauty fades. And so, like I said, she's a pretty woman, but let's look at the comments, and then we're going to get back to some more commentary that she said, and then we're going to get into how boys and men have been conditioned to see things through the lens of their mother. See how long that go for. I hope that he had her sign them papers. I don't know what that means. She says she has her own money. But she got her own money, then what she need them for? The brother says, stay single, fellas, protect the bag. I totally agree with him. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know. Money don't make a marriage. Good luck to the both of you. And that person is correct. She met a man that could afford her. Y'all see the narcissistic comments? But once again, when the man say, okay, what do I get? I don't get a beautiful woman that's getting more younger. I get an older, aging woman that's had a lot of fun and had probably been with a lot of men. Like this person said, it still won't last because she's the problem. Yes, you got older women like LisaRaye guys that have been on the market for a long time, and they've had a lot of fun. Those kind of women have had a lot of fun. And our average guy is not going to make them feel special. And our average guy is not going to satiate their query. It's just not going to happen. Now, I don't know if she's married or not. I don't know if she is or not. But like somebody said, and I agree with Lorenzo Phillips, simps will always be the factor. What one man won't do, a simp will come in and prove him wrong, but end up in divorce court crying. and that's my point. When you deal with women like LisaRaye, they've been imprinted. You're not getting a woman that can symmetrically bond with a man. She's been highly imprinted. Dr. Ryan Taraban talked about how modern women, and I agree with him, and I've said it too, how they want the benefits of a lady, but want to act like a modern woman. And I'll let your imagination run wild. And they always say, I'm so happy for you, boo. You deserve both a good and financially secure, smart man. But what does the man deserve? And see, they think that way because they don't think by default the men inherently have rights and values and needs, and also values too. They always think that their values supersede that of the husband, also that of the man. So whether this is a situation where she's actually getting with a man that she's dating or going to marry, maybe not, or even if this is just a conversation, LisaRaye could never be satisfied, because why would you marry a woman like LisaRaye? And if you married that woman ended up divorcing you. Masculinity should never be based on your finances alone. Your finances is part of it, but it should never be based on finances alone. That doesn't benefit a man. But let me show y'all this. And guys, do me a favor, hit the like button and also donate to the channel. Let me show you guys something. Look at this. Now, this is where a lot of the point of contention came in with LisaRaye. LisaRaye was seen on Instagram LisaRaye speaks on her current relationship status on Black media page, and this was recent, so we know she's not married. But it's palatable, and you see they got Kevin Samuels' face up there, but it's palatable. It's palatable because Kevin Samuels often talked about older women. But Kevin Samuels was never going to marry an older woman. There are some older women that think, like LisaRaye, they would think that when she heard Kevin Samuels say pay all bills, that it meant her. But no, Kevin wasn't advocating for men to pay all bills for old women. And I don't think that Kevin Samuels was advocating for men to pay all bills for women that were ran through or had a lot of fun either. Men got to start raising the standards high. Listen, I just talked to a client today in private practice that was struggling fundamentally. He was struggling fundamentally because he's going through a divorce situation. The current divorce system and the current marriage law system does not benefit men. If you get married today, you got to go in with 100% safeguards because you got a lot to lose. And I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes men cannot bear the pain of losing their children and also potentially losing everything they work hard for. I don't advertise or advise no man to get married under this current legal system. Unless the state is pro-friendly, pro-man, that means it's going to protect that man's assets, and that man signed a prenup that cannot be tampered with in the courts. That's the only reason.
Hear about you, not just the fickle fly-by-night, this is a wham bam thank you ma'am kind of thing. You know what I mean? You want to belong to someone. You want to feel special. So how has
she wanted to feel special, but you take off all that makeup. And look, LisaRaye don't look bad for almost 60. She don't look bad. But if you take off all that makeup, you're getting a declining asset. You take off all the makeup, all the fillers, all the lipstick, all the fake hair. What does she really look like? And so it's really not fair exchange, it's robbery. Because they expect you to pay full price for a declining asset, declining beauty, she got declining beauty, no fertility, and 9 times out of 10, she's not wife ready. And she's an old modern woman. So what is that man getting in return? Nothing. So Kevin Samuels, once again, was not advocating for men to marry women like LisaRaye. He wasn't. Kevin was advocating for men to marry younger women if they had money, what he called high-value men. And I differ in position in part with his definition of high value. He was talking for the sake of a conversation that high value meant men with money and status. But I don't advise no man to marry an older woman like LisaRaye because it doesn't benefit a man. The older a woman gets, the less likely she is to follow your leadership. And it's a problem.
Has dating been going for you? Are there any prospects, anything promising happening?
Well, you're trying to get all in my business. I was dating someone that was very promising, and then I lost my mom. And so that kind of took over, and I kind of went under, and then when I came back, it was...
So the guy a minute ago is not her boyfriend. I guess that was something that was made up. And once again, she's not an ugly woman, not by all shots. But I would never pay full price if I was a rich man or a middle class man or a poor man, not full price for LisaRaye. But when you live in a society where men don't have any standards, that's a problem. I'm going to show you guys in a minute, fundamentally and comprehensively, how introjection has impacted boys and also have impacted men. It's going to make a lot of sense. And it makes sense why Kevin said what he said, that men should pay all of the bills. Because I don't think a man should pay all of the bills. I understand Kevin's position, but that particular part of his position, I would say I don't agree with. I don't think a man should pay all the bills.
It was like, yeah, I need some time alone. So I started loving on me. And so I'm in a me space. And if he comes, then that's when he's supposed to come. But I can't really say that I'm looking for it. But if it finds me, congratulations to me.
I have to ask, is dating...
Not trying to be with anyone that I have to be a teacher. You know, life is spanking us right now. Life is our...
And she's correct in part, but does that man have to teach you how to be a woman and also how to follow his leadership? Does that man have to teach you how to be a woman and also to follow his leadership? Does that man have to teach you that? Because many times a man has to. Hit the like button, guys, and show some love. Hit the like button, show some love, guys. Thank you.
Teacher. Can I live in a house where I'm always teaching you as well? That's too much. That's too heavy. I don't want that. I'm gonna teach you some things, you know, on an everyday basis, but not where, you know, the life lessons you were supposed to have and stored up.
I agree with her on that. I don't have a problem with what she's saying. She's correct. But the problem is a lot of boys are broken. There's a percentage of men and women that are very broken. And I do agree that the man should have some level of autonomy before he gets married and say, I do. I agree with her on that. I agree 100%.
On me, because I'm damn sure going to give them to you. I'm world traveled. I'm well cultured. I'm talented. I'm successful. I'm domesticated. I'm family. You get all these things. Don't you know that I have a list as well? You need to have your list. Do I check the boxes that you need in a woman? Do you check the boxes for me? And one of them has to be accomplished, successful.
And see, that's where the hypergamy is kicking in. So what LisaRaye is basically doing is selling social market value, while her sexual market value is declining. And so you'll never get that kind of man, LisaRaye, because the older man that's successful and got money and status, he might have fun with you, but he's not going to take you serious for a wife. Not the top tier, higher echelon men. And the kind of man that she could qualify for that would show her love, she don't want that man because the hypergamy is kicking in. And men are not hypergamous when it comes down to money, but they are hypergamous when it comes down to beauty, facial symmetry, waist hip ratio, and also that woman's ability to have kids. So men are hypergamous in that particular aspect.
Powerful and rich.
Yeah, she said she wants a powerful rich man. What man in his right mind gonna marry LisaRaye that's powerful and rich, and she's getting older every day? She ain't getting younger, but she's getting older. Charm is vain and beauty is fleeting, but who can find a virtuous woman? Who can find a virtuous woman? Who can find a virtuous woman, a woman of virtue, a woman of high acclaim, a woman of high appeal? Because once you take the makeup off, once the body start aging, is he getting a virtuous, fit, beautiful woman? No, he's not. He's getting a woman that's highly entitled, a woman that has limited awareness as it relates to men needs, and a woman that could probably really never mold into that man's program. That's how backwards the world is. Guys, if you want me to read your comment, hit the like button, and also share it on the platform. Donate to the channel, please.
It's other things, though. It's funny. It's God-fearing. I'm not.
So she put hypergamy at the very top. Hypergamy was at the top. Now watch this. If that man loses his power, his money, his fame, does she still love him? No. So based on that logic, if a woman loses her beauty, if she can't perform anymore due to age, should that man leave her and get a younger woman? My point is that the dating market strategy now is very convoluted. It's not based in reality. It's always based from a one-sided argument that benefits the woman.
Men make compromise all the time. Men don't want to have to get out and pay all the bills. We don't want to have to put our life on the line and die for you.
Yeah.
See, you ladies like yourself, what you do.
And this part is where I agree with Kevin with. But I don't believe that a man should pay all bills. And once again, I'm going to show you where Kevin was compromised partially because Kevin was raised by his mother. And Kevin saw things through the lens of a woman, even though Kevin was evolving. Kevin was married twice. And one of the women that he married, she had a child. And Kevin often said, before he passed, he said it's a thankless job being a stepfather. Because Kevin saw things through the lens probably of his mother suffering unconsciously. And a lot of men do that. That's why they don't challenge women talking points. They just think that they should give their undying love to a woman without expecting anything of similar or equal value or higher value. You don't see men say they deserve, even though some men do deserve a higher tier woman. Some do.
Who would you validate women like this? You tell her it's nothing wrong with her wanting what she wants. Yeah, it is. Because yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is.
Okay, but
there is no but. What she wants is keeping her single. I don't know why you ladies think the world is built around what you want. We're grown people. We do what we have to do so we can do what we want to do. Hold on. And part of our problems in relationships is because people.
I need something to wear. Because wearing all white everything ain't that damn easy, And I kind of need something.
Now, how many men think a woman like LisaRaye going to be domesticated to follow his program exclusively if he's making all this money, he's rich and powerful? LisaRaye, even if you are rich and powerful, is not going to follow a man's program exclusively. It's going to always be under the lens of egalitarian relationships, where she see him as a partner. They went from the word spousification to partnerification, where he's seen as a partner instead of being seen as a husband.
Something, that's going to be track suit-ish or leggings or bodysuit or something like that. And I know my girl, Angel Brinks, she is a designer to the stars. She has dressed some of the best, and she has also dressed me as well. I remember going to one of her fashion shows a couple of years ago. Oh my God, and she was so excited to meet me. And I think that still this humbles me, when you really can really find someone that is excited to celebrate you just as much as you're there celebrating them. So, shout out to Angel Brinks. But I want her to come on here with me because I want to find out what her ideas are.
Now imagine a rich, powerful man that took years for him to gain his money, his power, and his acclaim, unless he was born in money, born in privilege, and born in status. unless he was born in those things, and he decided to marry and put a ring on it to a woman like LisaRaye. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that fundamentally. See, once again, you got black men that did a good work in YouTube spaces, but from a clinical perspective as a therapist, a lot of those men had limited perspectives unconsciously because they had been conditioned. They knew the Cornish by saying simp, but they didn't look at the underlying undertones that made them compromise their power. And I'm going to show you guys why that's a problem in a minute.
I need something to wear.
Now, that was a young LisaRaye. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. So a man that's powerful, rich, and money will want the younger version of LisaRaye, not the older, trauma-filled version, highly used LisaRaye. She's a pretty woman, very pretty woman, beautiful woman back then. But what man in his right mind gonna take LisaRaye serious now that's powerful and rich? Not for a wife, he's not going to take her serious because he doesn't have to. But we got a generation of boys that have been raised by their mothers, so they see things through the lens of mama. They don't see things through the lens of masculinity. Now I'm gonna show you guys where this condition came from. I'm gonna show you guys where this condition came from. Sit tight, but I need you guys to do me a favor. Hit that like button. Donate to the channel, please. I haven't got any love today, guys. Y'all donate to the channel. Hit the like button. And also donate to the channel. Let me get this other clip real quick. I'm going to show y'all the other clip in a minute. Hold tight. Let me show y'all the clip.
I dey go ball without you. I just say bye, then I miss you. Wanna control what I do. She's such a beauty with issues. Baby, we can make it so simple right now, yeah.
Right,
something in your past must be weighing you down.
I'm about to explain to you guys.
So your attitude, they be bossy.
I'm about to explain to you guys from a clinical perspective where many men, white and black, get this premise from and how it compromises a man's power, how it compromises his sovereignty, and how you should respond as a man in a time where masculinity is minimized. Now, I'm going to show you guys in a minute. Let me show it to you guys. And guys, hit the like button and also donate to the channel. Now, let me show you guys something because it's going to make a lot of sense. So this is unconsciously. This is called introjection. Introjection is an ego defense mechanism. That's what it is. It's an ego defense mechanism where boys see things through the lens of their mothers. They don't see it through the lens of rational masculinity. And I don't want to get too technical, but they see it through the lens of mama. What mama needs, what mama wants, and what mama desires.
Absorbing the beliefs, emotional tone, and narratives of a primary caregiver as your own internal voice. It becomes part.
And I believe that psychologically, this is what Kevin was dealing with. This is what a lot of men deal with. They deal with an ego defense mechanism called introjection. I believe that's what Kevin was dealing with. I believe that's what a lot of men deal with now because they don't know, they don't really understand fundamentally why they compromise and sacrifice so much of their power. Well, this is one of the major reasons why they do it.
Part of the superego. It's not imitation based.
Hold tight.
Is criticized.
It's unconsciously absorbing the beliefs, emotional tone, and narratives of a primary caregiver as your own internal voice. It becomes part of the superego. It's not.
So basically, he's thinking like mama. So you got the id, which is primitive. You got the ego, which is conscious, and the superego, which protects the ego but uses a more healthier approach. But this is what a lot of boys especially black boys in America, are struggling with.
Not imitation. It's identity level absorption.
When a boy grows up primarily with his mother, especially if the father is absent, the father is criticized, the mother is stressed or betrayed, the mother frames men negatively, the child becomes emotionally enmeshed. He may introject her fear of men, her distrust of men, her anger toward men.
So you got a generation of boys that see everything through the lens of their mother, and that internalization turns to identification, and then that identification turns to the boy internalizes, therefore he identifies, and therefore he projects at anything outside of his conditioning. And this happens to a lot of boys in America today.
Her beliefs about masculinity, her relational expectations. If mom subtly or overtly communicates, men ain't reliable, men are dogs, your father was nothing, the boy may internalize, part of me is bad. So he either...
How many of you men feel like part of your thinking was based on over-identifying with talking points of your mother? I want you to hit 1. If you think a lot of your thinking was based on over-identifying with the talking points of your mother. That's called over-identification. And that's why the generation, the group of men that we have now, many, not all, they tend to over-identify with women talking points, and they tend to see things through the lens of the mother or also through the lens of a woman.
Overcompensates, hyper-masculine dominance, or suppresses masculinity, overly agreeable, conflict avoidant. That internal conflict is introjection at work. If mom lived in chronic stress, financial fear, abandonment, trauma, hypervigilance, the boy may absorb her anxiety. Baseline. As an adult, overscans for betrayal, struggles to relax in relationships, anticipates abandonment. He doesn't know its inherited emotional atmosphere. 3. Introjected victim narrative.
Shout out to our man International Choir. So shout out to Kosher. Like that new background, investing that kosher money back into the kosher king. Oh, yes, sir, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you 100%. But let's get back into it. Hold tight.
If the dominant story was men hurt women.
And so Paul said 1-2. So a lot of men, even that's why I'm saying Kevin Samuels is wrong. Kevin saw through the lens. Kevin saw his own suffering. Kevin saw his own identity through the lens of his mother's suffering many times, like a lot of men do. And even though he was evolving once again, he still saw things through the lens of a woman.
The system is against us. Your father failed us. He may unconsciously identify as the oppressor, guilt, the victim, resentment, or both, internal.
What makes the quiet storm? Have you been impacted by an ego defense mechanism called introjection, where you tend to over-identify with female talking points, and you don't see things through the lens of being masculine, you see things through the lens of the approval of the mother. That's a psychological conditioning and pathology that a lot of men tend to have in modern America, especially because it's not balanced masculinity.
Split. This can fuel defensive anger, identity confusion, conflict with authority, introjected role confusion, covert partnerification. If he became mom's emotional support, he may introject responsibility for female emotional stability, hyper-attunement to women's moods, fear of upsetting women.
So hyper-attunement, meaning he's always trying to make things okay for the woman. He's constantly trying to deal with that mental pixelation that the woman is dealing with. But he minimizes his own needs for the sake of appeasing that woman. And that's not good. Healthy relationships where both are balanced. Quiet Storm said, my mama did that to me while my dad was gone. I left that part of me at age 13 when I had a full relationship with my dad. Good job, brother. I'm glad you had a full relationship with your dad. But this is what happens to a lot of men, Quiet Storm. They get caught up into the cycle of how mama thinks And they tend to brandish any talking point symmetrical with masculine leadership to that of their mom. And so the thing that I said I fundamentally disagree with Kevin on would be, and if Kevin was alive, I would tell him in love that I don't believe that men should pay all bills. Kevin did that, believed that. And at one point, Kevin believed that men should come back to the community. But before he died, he was beginning to look at things differently. Because what are men getting if they do that? They're not getting anything. Because most modern women have violated the social contract. It's already been violated. So if you're going to pay full price, what are you going to get? You're not going to get anything. Guys, do me a favor, share the stream if you like what I'm doing, and also hit the like button and donate to the channel.
In adult relationships, walks on eggshells, over-apologizes, feels responsible for partner's emotional state. That's not simping. That's introjected relational conditioning. 5. The double bind. Here's where it gets psychologically intense. He may love his mother deeply, feel loyal to her narrative, but resent the internal...
Shout out to Brother Ray Johnson. He's the #1 sponsor of the stream with the $10 Cash App. Shout out to Brother Ray Johnson. He's the #1 sponsor with that $10 Cash App. Shout out to Brother Ray Johnson. Thank you.
It's the money.
Pressure it created that produces guilt when disagreeing with women, anger when feeling controlled, confusion about leadership.
How many men have dealt with guilt when it comes down to disagreeing with your woman or women in general? If you're dealing with guilt when you're trying to set a standard, then you could be a victim of an ego defense mechanism called introjecting. Basically, your mom introjected consciously or unconsciously her value system into your mental DNA, and now you see things only through the approval and acceptance of your mother, instead of seeing things through the lens of your own balance and also the balance of your father that he set by you. And as you can see the little boy in the picture, is seeing his mama doing nasty work.
But resent the internal pressure it created that produces guilt when disagreeing with women, anger when feeling controlled, confusion about leadership, that's introjected loyalty, conflict.
Introjection becomes the internalized maternal superego. If there was no father to counterbalance, he may lack a differentiated masculine identity, external modeling.
And most boys don't have a father to counterbalance it. That's why if you look at a group of men that got the lowest standards, I will argue that it's black men in America. They have very low standards. What they tolerate in a woman, most men wouldn't even look at in other cultures. And so that's why when black men travel abroad, they lose their mind because they come in already psychologically broken. They come in already radically psychologically broken to a generation of women that think by default they're better than their men. And many times they add little or no value. Little or no value to the relationship. And that man, many times, is looking at things once again through the lens of how mama views him, how his sisters views him, and always his masculinity is performative based on their approval. It's performative masculinity based on their approval. And that's a problem. Men should never live their lives based on the approval of women. They should live their lives based on the approval of God first, if you believe in faith. And a lot of men don't live their lives that way. And it's leading up to the current conditions that we have now.
Of regulated male authority, a separate narrative about manhood.
And this goes into happy wife, happy life. I heard a lot of male content creators say men should pay all bills. That's the only way that a woman gonna respect you. And that's not necessarily 100% true. There's some truth to it, but it's not 100% truth. A woman gonna respect you whether you have money or not if she really likes you. And she'll let you get away with many things if she really like you. If she doesn't really like you, she'll tolerate you and she'll demand more from you because she doesn't see you as the alpha apex man that she secretly wants. Let me tell you, men, something. Your life is short. I want to encourage all you men to focus on your own life and your own health. Like I need to focus on mine and do what's best for me and live my life out on my own terms. But when you've been conditioned, you got to break that psychological conditioning. And that's why some of you need a non-diagnostic consultation. Consultations are not therapy. It is not therapy, but it's more like a life coach when you come see me. That's why you need to come see me. I see it all the time, guys, in couple therapy. I know what I'm talking about because I see it all the time.
So he builds identity in reaction, not integration. In couples therapy, you might see he defers to wife excessively or becomes rigid and defensive.
I had a man one time I was trying to help. And every time I was trying to help him and trying to get him to get new boundaries and to establish new boundaries, he was always seeing things through the lens of the approval of the woman. And he would use an ego defense mechanism called rationalization to justify the behaviors of the wife instead of having clear, consistent boundaries. And a lot of men are slaves to their own thinking to the point they never break that mold. Old habits are hard to break, but once you break it, it becomes better. Your life is not to be lived through the lens of a woman's approval. Listen, I believe in relationships. I think relationships are beautiful. If we lived in a world where men get a fair chance in the court system, where the women were raised by their mothers and grandparents to respect and honor their husbands, I think marriage is beautiful. But in this current culture that we live in, it's too many negative safeguards that can destroy the life of a man, and that can lead some men to homicidal and suicidal ideation. And because of that, I do not recommend men get married in this culture. And if we do get married, they need to make sure they put all the proper parameters in place. Men never get married solely on the ideal and the feeling of romanticism and love. As I said before, I see it all the time, men that are struggling. They're struggling with depression and anxiety because they're broken men. Hold tight, guys.
Or cannot tolerate criticism from women, or over-identifies with female pain but disconnects from his own when you explore. Whose voice is that? Often it's not his. It's introjected. Introjection is not inherently negative. If mother was emotionally intelligent, resilient, faith-based, growth-oriented, he may introject compassion, work ethic, emotional literacy, protective instinct. So again, adaptation, not pathology.
So introjection basically tells the man to overexplore and over-identify with that of the mother, while sabotaging his own livelihood and the things that he desires and the things that he wants. Now, watch this. Once again, to all my detractors, Kevin Samuels was not telling men to marry old women like LisaRaye. Even though Kevin Samuels told men to pay all bills, I don't believe that. I will never pay all bills for a woman that does not meet all my standards. And paying all bills, once again, does not mean that man has full power. You don't have to pay all bills if a woman really like you, even if you got all the money to pay all bills. But you shouldn't reward behavior based solely on because she's a woman. Make that woman earn that relationship, like other men and other cultures do. But I'm not paying all your bills. I'm not doing that. Not at this stage in my life. If I was a single man again, I'm good. I'm not paying all no bills. And if you do pay bills, if I do pay bills, you're not going to be stacking money while I'm paying all bills. I'm not doing that because now I'm following your program. Now, shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. He did a video on Halle Berry. Halle Berry's blank submission so bad. So this is what you're getting Now, guys, you're getting older women like Halle Berry that's been severely, thoroughly used up. And so you think a man should pay full price for an aging older asset. It doesn't even make any sense. Let me show you guys something. I'm going to show you guys why it doesn't make any sense. Like I said before, only a select type of woman deserves all bills paid. Only a certain select type of women deserves to have all her bills paid. Let me show you guys something. It's only a certain selection of type of women, guys, deserve all her bills paid, guys. Most don't deserve all their bills paid. There's only a select few that deserves to have all her bills paid. Not deserves, but have earned the right. I don't like using that word deserve. But she's earned the right to have all of her bills paid for. But that's not the typical American woman, white or black. And so don't ever get caught up in this cycle or where you've been made to feel bad because you can't pay all bills. Like I said before earlier, I respected Kevin Samuels highly as a content creator. He was brilliant in his packaging of what he sold, but I would tell Kevin he was alive. In all due respect, I disagree with you. Because I'm looking at this thing from a psychological perspective. I'm not paying all no bills. Now, look at this woman, or look at these women. That's an old dress, and that's an old ring. I want you guys to hit one if you think a woman would want a man that gave her an old dress and gave her an older ring that he gave to his prior girlfriend. I want you to hit one. Hit one if you think a man would want a woman to, a woman would take an old dress that was used or an older ring that's been used. Hit one if you think that woman want that and that woman sees that as being special. I want you to hit one. Hit one. Hit one. Because I promise you, no woman wants a ring that's been used by other women or had by other women, and no woman wants a dress that's old. She wants a woman wants a dress that's new, and she wants the best dress. A woman wants a new ring, not an old ring, unless that ring was an heirloom. But most women don't want an old ring and an old dress that was used. They don't. But somehow, that's what they want you guys to settle for. That's what they want you gentlemen to settle for. They want you to settle for that. Because they don't think that you deserve anything better. Oh, did y'all see it? They don't think you guys deserve anything better. And it's real sad, guys. When, some of these older women, like an old woman in a prize fight, a dog in a prize, like an old boxer in a prize fight. They get older, and they don't have the beauty they used to have, and now all of a sudden they're looking for a good man. They want you to pay full price. That's why I would never get married again. Not in America. I wouldn't even look at getting married again. I'm good, man. I don't want that headache. I just want to live my last days in peace. I wouldn't even look at some of these chicks. They had a lot of men.
If you were to ask me, I would say Halle Berry is known for three things. Number one, being exceptionally beautiful.
Oh.
Two, being an exceptionally talented actress.
He's right,
And three, being absolutely terrible in relationships.
Damn.
If we were to go over every relationship that we know about with Halle Berry, it would literally take us so long that Jesus himself might get off the cross and make me stop.
Got him!
And not only has Halle Berry dated black men, her most tumultuous relationships have come at the hands of white men. There was Olivier Martinez, there was John Ronan, There was Gabriel Aubrey. And with two of the men, she had children. And the stunning thing about this is, despite the fact that Halle Berry is exceptionally beautiful, she's always dated men, for the most part, as she has gotten older, that make significantly less money than her.
And I mean, listen, Halle Berry was a beautiful woman back in the day. Halle Berry is not a beautiful woman now, but she was beautiful back in the day. Halle Berry got to get on lubrication now, and it looks like she got a struggle wig on. But Halle Berry was pretty, very attractive when she was younger, but she's definitely not attractive now. And as I said earlier, men should pay premium for premium women, not pay less. No woman wants an old dress, and no woman wants an old used ring. No man wants an older used woman, especially if he worked hard to get money and status. But only in America where men can't have standards. To the women that are diamonds in the rough, those women have earned the right to get the high rewards for a man. The women that have not earned that right, you should be grateful if a man shows you love and decides to make you his woman. But you don't deserve that because you did not earn that. And this high level of entitlement is what's destroying a lot of relationships now. Nobody deserves anything. You can say, I want to earn that, but you don't deserve it.
What's brought criticism to Halle Berry's romantic choices, what she would one day address?
I've heard people say, something must be wrong with Halle Berry. She can't keep a man. Who's to say I want to keep a man? I don't want to keep the wrong man. Like, I'm not crazy. No. Right? No.
And you know what? The sad thing is, a lot of these women, they lie to each other. They lie to themselves. They struggle with self-reflection. And part of it is that women and men just think different. We don't see things the same. That's okay. But as I said earlier with introjection is seeing things solely through the lens of a woman. And a lot of boys struggle with that pathology because they've never had a masculine father. And some simp is going to come by and put a ring on Halle Berry's finger. But women like Halle Berry has some underlying issues that she's never really and fully addressed. It's not all those men's fault. You can't tell me all the men, that's just the ones that we know about, that when I counted, it was about 14 men. And that's why when people say that if you pay all bills, a woman is going to be feminine and stay in her femininity, that's a myth. A woman that's feminine is going to be a feminine woman regardless if you pay all bills. Does paying bills help enhance a woman's femininity, which in essence make her softer and puts less stress on her? Yes, it enhances it. But that's conditional femininity if you got to have a stimulus to make you feminine. No different than a man. A man does not need a stimulus if he's a masculine man. That's just the masculine is just going to be. But can a soft feminine woman enhance his masculinity? Yes. But women like Halle Berry, they're psychologically damaged, like a lot of American women have been psychologically damaged because they thought the men and women were the same biologically and psychologically, instead of understanding that men and women are the same when it comes down to humanity and being civil. We are the same in our civility and our humanity, but we're not the same in our biology and our psychology.
Woo! And then she would come out and say this.
I was always saying to the universe what I didn't want. So guess what I did? I manifested what I didn't want. Yeah. So I really had to change my thinking. And instead of thinking of what I didn't want, I had to get intentional with what I did want. Wow. What was my perfect partner? What would he be like, feel like? What walk of life would he come in? Who would he be? How would he treat me?
And that's why I said, guys, this psychological conditioning, you would be a fool to waste your time trying to date or marry the typical modern woman. Because they don't see you as being a husband. They see you as being a partner. They went from husband and wife to spouse to partner. It's called partnerification. A lot of men have been partnerified. Back in the day, in the clinical, it was called spousification. And so you got a generation of women now where their man is just the partner. They both have power. But when it comes down to the things she don't want, like duty, responsibility, and the tough part of the relationship, then he need to be the husband. So they flip-flop when it's conditional. But trust and believe, Kevin was not advocating for men to marry older women. And while I agree with a lot of things that Kevin said, as I said many times in this show, I don't believe a man should pay all bills for older women. I just don't believe that. Especially to a man that's never had kids. He's worked very hard to make his money. That woman got kids by other men. That woman is not a virgin. And that woman has probably had a lot of men. I'm not saying that there are women that have been with men that are not, they some decent women, but a lot of these women there have been with a lot of men. Halle Berry has been with a lot of men in Hollywood. You can't take Halle Berry serious for your wife. There's nothing special about it. But the world doesn't care about what men want. They just think men should accept things as it is because her feelings say so. And then they get shocked when they hear men really saying what they really mean. Because so many men have been simplified and they lie to women. You know, they call it, in the Marines, it's called semper fidelis. I call it simp fidelis. True and loyal, true and faithful. Semper fidelis, semp fidelis.
I got very granular with it, and then he showed up.
Now, Halle Berry said that after all of the mistakes, she focused and manifested for her boyfriend, and the right guy came, who happened to be another man who makes less money than her and who's younger than her, a legendary guitar player by the name of Van Hunt. But again, I wanted to go into the nitty gritty of all of this because it just doesn't make sense. You mean to tell me that she sat there thinking about the kind of man that she wanted?
And Van Hunt probably is number Van Hunt probably is number 65. Who want to be number 65 on the roster, guys? Who want to be number 65? Yeah, I'm just wired different. I'm from the old school. Yeah. If you listen, men, if you work hard to get your money, I will argue don't marry in America. If you're gonna get your wife from abroad, or take your wife from America and take her into a country where it's gonna benefit you. But don't get married in America. It's too dangerous. I see it all the time. Too many men suffering in these bad relationships where they don't have a voice.
And he just
watching the art, the artistry. It
just came. Well, doesn't make sense because it's hard for people to break their habits. As it seems, Halle Berry, as she got older, she started dating men that made less money. She went from David Justice to Eric Benet to guys who were just.
And guys, this is right on time. Once again, shout out to O'Shea. This is right on time because once again, you know, some say that Kevin said the men should pay all bills. No, Kevin ain't talking about paying all bills to old women. He's not talking about that. That's why when women get older, you can't be making these demands about expecting a man to pay all bills. Be grateful you got a man that loves you because you can't give him the fair exchange back in return. I know it hurts, but it ain't got nothing to do with hurt. But I would have never took a Halle Berry serious. I wouldn't even look at Halle Berry. I couldn't take her serious. Not for my wife, I could.
The bottom of the barrel when it came to earning money. So much so that she was investing and spending money on these men. And even though she's with Van Hunt, things just don't really seem right. It seems like Halle Berry is on this tour trying to make everybody feel like this choice that she has right now has been the best choice of her life.
No more jackhammer sex. Never felt
we
good.
were afraid to say, we had to get there so that he felt good about bringing us to orgasm. So we had to say that we did it so that he would feel good about himself. Because what is that doing? Right. That's putting his.
And once again, guys, that's the playbook is the same. You just have to laugh at it. It's really a waste of time. Once again, shout out to O'Shea as I'm reacting to his video. It's really a waste of time. Because A lot of American women are not mature. Shout out to the good women that are. Nothing you say or do, you could tell the truth. You could be soft with the truth or hard with the truth. They still don't want the truth. And like I said, it's just a waste. It's just a waste of time. It's a waste of time. You just laugh at them, keep it moving, man. Because when you start talking to delusion, delusion cannot see things rationally. Delusion only sees delusion. Delusion only see things through a concept called egocentric. Nothing you can say or do. That's why they're attacking brother Jeffrey St. James. He's a licensed therapist like myself. The brother is given a fair and honest perspective. But these women don't want to hear that. Most modern women want to be lied to because they have an undeveloped ego, undeveloped, arrested development. And like I said, only select women qualify. Most don't qualify for that kind of love and treatment. And that's why men need to continue to men need to start demanding more from a woman. It's okay to say, okay, you don't qualify. Just like she said, he doesn't qualify. Sorry, ma'am, you don't qualify. You don't meet my standards as a wife. You don't meet my standards for being my woman. Sorry, not sorry. You just don't qualify. Nothing personal. But you just don't qualify. And guess what? That's okay. It's no harm, no foul. That's okay. If guys, you like what I'm saying, hit the like button, donate to the channel. Don't let Ray Johnson be the only one. Let's get back into what O'Shea is saying because this was timely, very much timely.
Needs before our own. Yeah. And now I don't do that anymore. I'm like, no, I come first like you come first to you.
Yeah.
We both deserve to have this be a mutually enjoyable experience. So we both can roll over and go to sleep because we feel good. Not one snoring and one looking at this thing.
Exactly. What the hell?
What am I doing?
Now, this booty clapping admission that she has, it's kind of like moving the goalposts. All of a sudden, this is the man that you've always wanted. And it took you all of these guys to get there. In my honest opinion, a guy like Van Hunt would have always been
and all these guys, like O'Shea's basically saying, ran through. She could have got a man like Van Hunt years ago. But because of hypergamous behavior, thinking that she's better than the average man, feeling like she is settling with the average man would have loved her and adored her, and she would have had a lower body count. But she wanted to run it up because she's hypergamous when it comes down to status, power, and money, and height. But I don't want Halle Berry in her older years. What am I getting? I'm getting a shell of a woman. And I know that's a harsh truth that people don't like to hear, but I wouldn't want it for my wife. I would not invest a marriage ring with her. I wouldn't even take it serious. If I had money and status. If I got money, status, and power, number one, I'm not getting married in America. And two, it's going to be a younger woman. I'm going to make sure I'm in good shape, but I'm not getting with a woman in America. That's not going to happen. Not for my wife. She'll be a younger, fit woman, hopefully, no kids, virgin to very low bodies, wife ready, emotional regulation. She grew up in a healthy family where she respected her elders and respected her father and respected her mother and her father as it relates to roles in marriage. Traditional women. But the typical modern woman, I won't even waste my time. And all the young men that I talk to, I tell them not to waste their time either.
Available to Halle Berry. But she just...
unless she's coming in on your program.
Didn't want a guy like that. Because what Halle Berry mostly wanted was a white guy. So much so that she was willing to pay for it. But see, there was just certain problems here.
A woman literally starts paying for a grown man. And I just talked about this on my other channel. She's depleting herself of her feminine energy. So if you ever realize, a woman who pays for stuff, even if it's 50-50 or the whole, set of bills, and a grown man lives in the house, she is pouring her feminine energy into a masculine cause or a masculine man, and therefore
don't listen to this evil woman. I'm gonna do a show tomorrow from simp to millionaire. How Kevin Samuels talked about how he married a baby mama, and it was a thankless job. This woman's husband just died, guys, and her coldness towards her husband, even though it was probably we only saw part of it, was paramount. A true feminine woman, regardless of a situation, is going to always take care of her man and love her man. Parasitic women only see their men as a means to an end, like Shira 7. And then if you take off all the makeup, take off the fillers, take off the wig, what do you have? Most of these women, if you take off the makeup, you got a totally different woman. I call it fake up. Take that makeup off, that wig and all that eyeliner. What does she really look like? And some say she looked like the Joker. This woman's husband passed away recently. And basically it was like, only she said he was a good provider. Basically he did his job. That's high narcissistic traits. And women like her is going to keep a lot of women single. Because if I ever decide to write my book, it's going to be called Black Love Without Consent. We don't ask men what they want.
She's going to be depleted of it. And when she's depleted of her feminine energy, a man is going to go look elsewhere for more feminine energy because now you have none, because now you're a man providing.
I rarely agree with Sheer 7, but I'm going to be honest. This is on point behavior. You see, because if you're a woman and you're really valuable and you're beautiful as Halle Berry, in theory, some man should come and pay for you. But
I believe in that in part. I don't think a man should pay. Your beauty alone, see, this is where men keep compromising, especially American men. I get it, every man got his own standard. But say you got a beautiful woman, but she got a lot of bodies. I'm not going to pay all bills for that. I don't care how fine she is. I'll just keep my money, and I'll take that money and try to find a similarly attractive woman or a cute woman. I'll pay all bills for a woman that's cute, no bodies to low bodies. Where if she got bodies, I'm not paying all bills. But I'll pay a lot of the bills. But I don't believe just because a woman is pretty that you should pay all bills. I just don't believe that. That's foolish to me. Shout out to my man Quiet Favorites. Quiet Favorites, the #1 sponsor of the stream. He is the #1 sponsor. Thanks for sharing the other side of the dating environment. You are appreciated, man. Listen, man, I appreciate you, Quiet Faith, for showing love, brother. Thank God for good brothers like yourself that support me. You've always been a stand-up brother. I've never met you, but I do respect you and what you're trying to do. And God bless you, man. I really appreciate that, because putting this stuff together takes a lot of time. And when people like you come through, Quiet Storm and the other brothers, Ray Johnson, it means the world to me. So I greatly, and I mean greatly, appreciate your contribution. And I appreciate what you're doing. As Quiet Faith, guys, he is the #1 sponsor of the stream. Shout out to Quiet Favorites. He's the #1 sponsor of the stream. Guys, let me tell you something. Nothing wrong with donating through YouTube. I'm grateful. But YouTube will take 30% of your money. The best way to donate is through Cash App. And I'll show you guys love. But they take 30%. So I don't want you guys' money going to YouTube for free. Y'all work too hard for your money to give it to YouTube for free. But once again, thank you, Brother Quiet Faith, for being so kind. And also being so generous. Thank you, sir, so much for your kindness. Thank you, brother. As he's the #1 sponsor of this stream.
But when you have an attitude problem and you just don't care about anybody else, you're only caring about yourself, yeah, you're not going to get the kind of man that you want to stay. Because David Justice left her. I think Eric Benet also may have left her. I'm not sure. But David Justice, I know for a fact. And the reality is she just couldn't find men that would put up with her. Now, she's trying to make it seem like everything is okay now, and she's having the best XEX of your life.
My name is Chef Tajani, and what I'm about to share with you sounds absolutely.
But no, that's really not the case. The fact is, the guys that she don't want her.
Right. That's true. I agree with him on that, 100%.
And I got other proof.
These sisters are out here paying these white guys child support and spousal support. Name one time when you've ever seen a white woman pay a black man spousal support or child support. I'll wait. I got all day.
But wait, there's more.
This is something that we don't see, right? Halle Berry.
So basically what O'Shea is saying, she's broke. That's what he's basically saying. She's broke. And now she'll deal with a lesser than. A lot of women, some black women swirl like that. They deal with a lesser than when they realize they can't get what they used to can get. They just deal with a lesser than.
Ordered to pay Gabrielle Aubrey $16,000 a month in child support for their daughter Nala. The talks Aisha Tyler to pay husband $2 million in spousal support, according to court documents.
The fact that Halle Berry is extremely beautiful and you have white men who make less money than you putting you.
Well, Halle Berry, in my opinion, is not extremely beautiful. She was beautiful in the past, but she's not extremely beautiful now. I would say she's an average looking woman. She's not ugly, but she's not as beautiful as she used to be. And it's okay. That's just part of aging, but she's definitely not extremely beautiful in my book. She's okay looking, but she's not extremely beautiful.
On child support tells me everything I need to know about you. It tells me a few things. Number one, you're extremely selfish. And we know that because look at all of the relationships that she has. A person who really respects her relationship with her mate is going to know how to have problem-solving skills. Right. And clearly, Halle Berry does not. Her relationships typically don't last any more than 3 or 4 years. And the reason why that is because it's simple. It's her way or the highway. And that works pretty good when you're still young and you're still beautiful. But once you get past the age of 35, 40, and 45, men probably don't want to put up with you as much. And
what Halle Berry don't understand, I had a conversation with a woman. She got mad at me, and I was just being honest. I said, ma'am, you're not as beautiful as you used to be, and it's okay. We all age. I'm 54. We age, but I'm not considered to be a beauty asset. Women are. My worth most is in my money, my leadership, and my ability to problem solve and handle business. And so I told her, I said that you're going to be invisible. You're basically invisible to most men. She got extremely angry. She blocked me. Because she was trying to be, talk about what men should do and what men can't get. But it's always a one-side conversation. I said, you're invisible. And lo and behold, she's still invisible. Once they get a certain age, they don't get the looks they used to get. That's why it's so important to get with a good man in your younger years, settle with him, get a good man, show him love, and show him respect. But they don't do it. And so once they get older, they still think they got the same power as younger women do. And like I said, when Kevin said paying all bills, Kevin didn't really add any nuance. But Kevin was talking about men should pay all bills, high value men for younger women. Kevin said that if he ever got married again, he would get a young woman about 25 years younger than him. And listen, I don't blame him. My standards would be a little bit higher than his. But I'm not paying full price for nothing used. I'm just not going to, because they want to pay full price for nobody will pay full price for something used. A woman's virtue back in the past was what she brought to the table as relates to virginity. That was her selling point, her virginity, her femininity, no kids, and being a mature, kind woman. What the man gave her was his last name, provision, protection. He put his life on the line. That's fair exchange. That's what my dad got. That's what my granddad got. That's what most men got back in the day. So the times have changed, and men need to change. Because see, a lot of modern women are still modern while expecting tradition when it benefits them. Men start changing and adapting. You have to adapt. And a lot of men are beginning to adapt. Some are checking out. Some are becoming indifferent. Some are just working on themselves. Some are getting passports, traveling abroad, getting younger women. And some are just, especially some of these Gen Z men, they just don't care. And guess what? Liberalism and modernism did it. They created the relationships that they complain about. They did it. So congrats to that.
It doesn't mean that they don't want to, because she still is good looking even at age 59. It just means that why deal with you when you're 40 having problems when I can deal with somebody that's like 25 or 26 having problems? Woo! And this is exactly what happened to Halle Berry. All of the guys that she wanted, they were no longer reachable. So she had to start paying for the D. And not just any D. Broke, white D.
Damn.
And now she's out here talking about how good Van Hunt is and how much she's enjoying him.
Oh, guys. We got another one in the house. We got another. Hold tight.
It's not like Van Hunt is so financially successful and has so many other opportunities that he can deal with.
And this person's name is Kyron Ski. Kyron Ski. I ain't gonna say the last name, but shout out to my man Kyron Ski. He's the second #1 sponsor of the stream with Brother Quiet Faith for that $50 cash out, making him the total #1 sponsor. Because once again, Facebook takes half, and then Brother Quiet Faith, as he is the second #1 sponsor of the stream. You guys are showing so much love. I appreciate it. Shout out to that dear brother, as he is the second. He is the second, guys. He is the second #1 sponsor of the stream.
It's the money.
A Cash App alert, Brother Kyron Ski is the #1 sponsor, followed by Brother Quiet Faith for that $50 super chat. Cash App, man. I really appreciate it. You guys very generous with your love and time. I love you, brothers, man. I appreciate it. And we're going to get deep into it because I want to see you guys win as an OG. I want to see you brothers win in this crazy culture.
Somebody better than Halle Berry. In fact, I would argue that Van Hunt is in the same situation that she's in. And he might be one of those guys who's always thought that, Halle Berry was beautiful. She was fine. The same thing happened with Russell Wilson and Sierra. If you think about it, Sierra was like a single mom. And
the sad thing is that these men, if they really knew their worth, if they evolved, they can get prettier women or equal or prettier women with less baggage from elsewhere. That's why you need to start traveling and exploring your options. To the single men, to the righteous, godly men that want wives never been married. Explore your options. Don't limit your mating choices here in America. You get with the best woman that you can find for your money. You need to be hypergamous when it comes down to mating, dating, and relationships. Do not settle for average to subpar women. Demand the best like they want the best. That's what men need to start doing.
The only reason, in my honest opinion, she got with Russell Wilson is because he was always her fan. He was always her fan, and he's probably one of those guys look, if I ever got a chance to date Sierra, I would marry her. And guess what? He married her. It could be the same thing about Van Jones. He's infatuated with...
And I agree with Philip. Philip, you're right. Philip said that... when Halle did marry a man with more money than her, she didn't respect him. Heck, it took over a year to her to divorce him. Right. And so that's why I say I fundamentally disagree with Kevin. Even though I respect the man, I didn't agree 100%, but I agree with a lot of things that he said. Paying all bills does not mean total love, devotion, and submission. It doesn't. A woman's love for a man got to be more than just money. Money is a large part of it. But it got to be more than just money. Because if a man really loves a woman, then part of his love to her got to be more than just physical beauty. It got to be other things too. It got to be other things. It has to be other things. Because if it doesn't, once the money is gone, then she's going to be gone. And she's going to go to the highest bidder. And you're going to be singing that song by Force MD back in the day. Because she's hypergamous, called Tears.
Tears. Make you laugh.
Shout out to my man Hashim Shabazz for that $5 super chat. He said, salute to Kosher Preach, no doubt. And let me tell you something, guys, about as you continue to move forward as men. when you come into spaces where men are evolving, some men get what we give and they move on. But trying to empower men, it's like what I call a conveyor belt. They get on the platform, they take the knowledge, and they move on. But there are still men out in the wilderness that have not heard the truth. But you don't get stuck in red pill rage or man rage. You take what you can get from it, work through it, and you move on and find women to meet your program and your standards. I just want to see men get the best. I think men should get the best if they put in the work. Just like women say they deserve, men should say I deserve as well. And they don't want to hear it. They get upset because they don't think the men fundamentally deserve it. Ray Johnson said Shira 7, very evil sociopath. She didn't care about. Yep, I'm gonna do a show tomorrow. I'm gonna do a show on it tomorrow, I believe, about the Shira 7 fiasco. I'm gonna do a show on it tomorrow about Shira 7. I'm gonna do a show on it tomorrow.
There, he will do anything he can to stay with her. He will deal with her problems. But the real reason why Halle Berry could never maintain a man that was quite like her on her level.
Your laptop could be connected to 300 million Amazon buyers right now. Instead, it's running Netflix.
Level is this.
Ladies, you can't expect to be attracting high-value men or men of quality if your life is all over the place. You need to do the inner work before you can start attracting the men that you want. Having the specific lifestyle of being disciplined, accountable, being a high-value woman, the consequence of all that is honestly attracting men left and right. Why? Because we put ourselves in a position to do so.
Halle Berry was never focused enough, never serious enough, and didn't have the right mentality or the accountability to get a man on her financial level. And guess what? She still hasn't. Woo! She's now 59 years old, dealing with a man younger than her with no financial leverage, at least in the same level that she is. In other words, Halle Berry has settled for less. She's trying to dress it up as if she hasn't, as if she wanted a man.
And I would say that man is less. I would argue that he's settled. Because he's not getting the best version of Halle Berry. He's getting the older, used version of Halle Berry.
And like this, but I can guarantee you, if Halle Berry was 24 years old, she wouldn't give Van Hunt any time.
She wouldn't give him the time of the day.
If she was 30, he wouldn't get time of day. If she was 35, he wouldn't need the time of day.
And that's why, guys, you should never be a woman's fallback option. After she's given her virtue and her beauty to other men, now she want to come and see you as less than. I don't want to be seen as your fallback plan. I don't want to be the one that, feel like I'm lucky to have you after your beauty is gone and your body has been used by multiple men. I don't want you. I won't even take you serious. But see, because of the ego defense mechanism called introjection, that's how a lot of men think.
Some guy who was white, who didn't have very much, would get the time of the day. And so what happens for many men, once women get to a certain level in their life, you can easily become their second, third, fourth, or fifth choice. And, it's nothing wrong with being somebody's third, fourth, or fifth choice, typically, especially if it can work out. I mean, we see it all the time in the NFL draft where a player is taken third or fourth in the NFL draft and they can turn out to be first round talent. I mean, it even happened for us with the 49ers. We took Brock Purdy in the 2022 draft. He was the last guy to get picked the entire draft, and he ended up being a franchise quarterback. So, yes, if you can prove that you're valuable over time, it matters. It typically doesn't matter to women, though. Women typically despise their second, third, or fourth choice. Mm-hmm. They would rather have their first choice. Now, over time, they may appreciate it. Typically, they may have a problem.
And that's why the divorce rate is so high, because the man she settled for does not more or less satiate her hypergamous itch. And I don't want to be a woman's third, fourth, fifth choice and she feel like she's doing me a favor. I don't want you, sweetie. I'd rather be alone and single before I feel like I'm who you settle with. I was just average. And don't you men let women make you feel guilty about your dating and your mating standards. Kevin Samuels was not talking about men paying all bills for old women. That's a manipulation tactic that a lot of women would try to use. It's a backdoor tactic, but he wasn't talking about old women. He was talking about or older women. He was talking about younger women that were young, fit, feminine, and friendly, younger women. I'm not saying an older woman can't have love, and I'm not saying an older woman should not be loved. But I don't think an older woman deserves what a young, feminine, pretty younger woman deserves, especially if she has no kids, if that man doesn't have any kids. But they get mad or they're trying to shame a man out of his standard.
Problem with it. And when Halle Berry is trying to dress this up as if her life and I'm finally getting the sex that I want, pretty much putting down the previous mates in which she's paying child support for. Woo! It just doesn't sound realistic. What it's giving to me is that you could never appeal to the kind of men that you wanted. You were too selfish. The guys just passed you by. You got to a situation where you're 59 and a lot of the guys your age are not dealing in that same age range, and they just found somebody better. And unfortunately, this is the reality for a lot more women than they think. You're going to see a lot more ladies in a relationship with the man that they're forced to be with and trying to say, I'm finally with the guy that I wanted. He came to me. I didn't do anything. Now, see, stop the show. There's a problem fundamentally with women who use that verbiage. Like the man that came to you out of nowhere. This is crazy because Halle Berry was from Cleveland, Ohio. All right. There was no way that she could get into the industry in Cleveland, Ohio. Actually, in 1989, she moved to New York City to pursue her acting ambitions. She basically ran out of money and lived in a homeless shelter at the YMCA.
Now look at Halle Berry guys now compared to the Halle Berry years ago. Now I'm being funny, guys. I'm being extremely funny. But how many men do y'all see swimming in Halle Berry eyes, guys? How many men's with a Z do y'all see swimming in Halle Berry's eyes? Look at them eyes. Them eyes tell a story. Some call it the 1,000 phallus stare. Boy, it's funny. The 1,000 phallus stare. Look at all those spirits swimming in Halle Berry eyes, guys.
Yay, because she wanted something better in her life. Now, she can do this when it came to her own personal endeavors, but when it came to the man that she wanted, he had to come. This is ridiculous behavior. No one just comes into your life because you want them to. Everything that you are doing, you have to be on the right path. And the reality is this guy came in her life. He's safe, probably at 59 years old. She doesn't want to get married again. He's there. He will deal with her. She doesn't have to change who she is because she won't. And she finally found a guy that's silly enough to accept her for who she is.
He's right.
That's the reality of it all. And this is what's going to happen for a lot of ladies out there that don't get what they want. They're going to have to go this route. And that's okay. Just say that. Don't put the other guys down that you were clapping cheeks with and having babies with and saying like, oh, I don't have to fake it with them anymore because I have this dude who I make more money than who is clapping my cheeks now. It just doesn't make sense. Woo!
All right, so that somewhat cements my point about Halle Berry, about modern women, and also about dating and relationship. That somewhat cements my point. And what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to do this. I'm coming back tomorrow. Yeah, she got that $1,000 phallus, that 1,000 phallus stare. yeah, brother Philip Reddy. She's had a lot of fun. Bless her heart. She's had a lot of fun. And this is a show I did with Peaceful Life, and I'm going to end it, and I'm going to come back tomorrow and finish it. From SIP to millionaire. That's what Kevin Samuels went from, a SIP to a millionaire. And as I said, I stand on it that Kevin Samuels was a victim of a concept called introjection, like a lot of men are. And I would tell him if he was alive, him and I had the conversation out of respect. But I don't think men should pay all bills. Only a certain amount of women, in my opinion, should get that. So back to the point of men paying all bills for a used commodity, it's an insult. And what these women are doing, they're trying to come in on the back end. Because see, the social contract Peaceful Life said, sexual exclusivity under that man's leadership, no kids by other men, sexual exclusivity. Men now are not getting sexual exclusivity before they get married and also after they get married. Because if a woman give a man her body, she cheated on her future. She cheated on her future husband. She might say, well, I didn't know him. You don't have to know him, sweetie. That's why it's called fornication. You gave your body to a man that wasn't your husband. And now you want that man to pay full price. I'm not saying that women can't have made bad choices in their day. We all make bad choices. But guess what? The world don't owe us no apology. Men don't care. The world don't care about if men make bad choices. We're going to have to deal with the consequences.
You're totally correct.
Am I talking right? We're going to have to deal with the consequences. And so she's going to have to deal with the consequences. So all this manipulation about men paying all bills, I would tell Kevin if he was alive, and I love Kevin and say respectfully, I disagree with you 1,000,000%. I'm not paying all bills for something used. I'm just not going to, because she won't want a used dress. If you gave her a used dress for the wedding day, she don't want that dress. Yeah, she don't want no used dress.
My neighbor reported me for unsafe snow removal equipment after watching this clear his driveway through my fence. We made a.
If you gave her a used ring, she don't want that ring. And so the most important thing the woman can give a man is her body. That's more important than anything for a lot of men. And so, we condition men to take less, but at the same time, women are conditioned to still have high standards, even though they're giving their virtue away.
No, I totally agree. And I'm glad you said that, because I think with Kevin and them, they were talking about and when they talk about these numbers and these incomes, they keep focusing on the 10% of men and the 10% of women.
Right.
When an average man making $50,000 a year need to get with an average woman. An average woman need to get with an average man. But when Kevin talked about this high value man, all the women heard was 6 figures.
That's all they heard, right?
They didn't hear the other requirements, and they don't understand. You go to the Pew Research, you do the statistics. If a couple gets together and one's making 50, the other making 50, and they invest their money over time, they can build a very comfortable life.
Right.
But with social media, with the delusion, all women heard was 6 figures or whatever. And now with these I call them we used to call them back in the past, the chicken heads, like the sprinkle lady.
Right.
These women are just old,
chicken head. Right.
That's a chicken.
So I'm gonna stop it here, guys. I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm gonna finish this from simp to millionaire. Because that's what Kevin Samuels went to. He went from being a simp to being a multimillionaire, like a lot of men have been simps. And we're gonna stop it. We're gonna stop it here, guys. That's why, guys, y'all gotta you gotta get your money up, and you gotta travel abroad, guys. You gotta get your money up and travel abroad. And get you something young and feminine, and get you something that's special. That's what you got to do, guys. Because you don't have no value, no glory in America. You're gonna be struggling for a long time. You need to get you a feminine woman, but she don't want your cornbread.
Hey, girl, you gonna eat your cornbread?
Don't say nothing. You talking to me? Yeah, I think you're talking to you.
腰はひねって S 字型。
Yeah, she wants your cornbread and she don't want to give you nothing back in return. But anyway, guys, we're going to end it here, guys. Shout out to all the brothers that donated. Shout out to the 2 #1 sponsors on the stream, and Quiet Faith, Brother Quiet Faith. Gave 50. Brother Kyrinsky, and Quiet Faith. Those brothers showed a lot of love. The 2 $50 sponsors, Those brothers showed a lot of love. 2 number one sponsors, number one sponsors for $50. Those brothers showed up big. Shout out to those brothers. To the $50 spot. Those brothers showed Kosher a lot of love. I really appreciate it. And guys, I got another show for y'all on tomorrow. It's Peaceful Life, and on an earlier show, Dissect This Thing. So shout out to Quiet Faith and Kyron Ski for showing love, coming in strong in the paint, battling in the paint. Quiet Faith gave him the assist, and Kyron Ski, like my Charlotte Hornets, got the dunk. Went hard in the post, shot the 3 like a LaMelo ball. Shout out to Kyron Ski, putting in work, and him and my man Quiet Faith. And then also shout out to brother Ray Johnson. He was the hype man. And also brother Shabazz for showing love. You guys have done a great job. We're going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to finish this show that I did with Peaceful Life. And once again, guys, I want you guys to have the best. There was a song by Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy Pendergrass said, "You can't hide from yourself." And when we have these shows, most don't get it because they're unevolved, they're underdeveloped. And I have this laugh. I just realized most folks now are very delusional about what their worth is. And, it'll make you think you're crazy if you listen to some of the talking points here in America. But anyway, to everyone that donated, shout out to those brothers, guys. We're going to sign off. And I'm going to see y'all tomorrow for the second part. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow for the second part, so y'all be good.
Kevin Samuels missed this core talking point in expecting men to pay all of the bills.
I want her to respect your masculinity and your manhood because you have an XY chromosome. It don't work that way. Women respect resources. You can't check a bitch because you got nothing to check with. The only place you dominate is in the bedroom. Dominate on the balance sheet. Dominate on your wallet, which is your accomplishments. Any woman that you choose to deal with, her money should be no good with you if you're 100% man. You pay everything.
I didn't agree 100% with everything Kevin said. I don't believe men should pay all bills unless that man is getting something in return. If he's getting a higher value, a higher quality woman in return, yes, pay all bills. But you gotta understand, Kevin Samuels at one time was a simp, and I'm not saying this to denigrate Kevin, but Kevin will tell you that Kevin went from being a simp to being a multi-millionaire, high-value man. Kevin went from being a simp to a multi-value, high-value man. And so Kevin Samuels was not raised in a home where he had a father like I version of himself. But what's happening there, women like LisaRaye, some of these older women, they've either had kids or ran through, they want to tell men, they want men to pay all the bills. And, Kevin Samuels was a brilliant man. I love Kevin Samuels. But
how can women, LisaRaye, before they get married, are there any telltale signs that you can warn women who are dating wealthy men what they can look out for in case he is involved in some shady financial scams?
First of all, he's not going to let you know because a real man is just like a drug dealer. The girlfriend don't know about his drop off and his people that he get his supply from. He keeps her out of that because that's the man's thing. That's his position. Let me tell you, I have, had a drug dealer or two, back in my day. And I didn't know and ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I can't tell you. And one of the officers that questioned me was like, well, you didn't see him getting up, going to work every day. I said, I don't see you getting up, going to work every day either. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean you ain't working. You know what I mean? I maybe I did turn the other cheek or whatever. Yeah, okay, I did know. But still, I had never seen anything. You know what I mean? So that therefore, I could never be in the middle of anything. And I'm sure he thought about that. If they question you, you ain't gonna even be able to say anything because you ain't never seen nothing. He kept me out of it. So your businessman is the same thing. They're not gonna let you know so that you under pressure and you gotta tell. No, I'm gonna keep you out of it, period. So it's protection is how they're thinking about it.
For your time, because being a content creator is it's hard. It's not an easy job. So it's definitely psychological manipulation. It's what the current culture is telling men they should do. But masculine men don't let women tell them what the standard is. She become what the standard is. And if she don't become the standard, then that's fine. That man keep going on to the next woman. That's why I get perturbed when I hear some people say level up. I say level up for what? Now, should a man level up for himself and level up for what's best for him? And, leveling up to put himself in a position to get the best woman that he can get, and the best woman that he can get based on standards that are symmetrical to what he worked in, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But leveling up for whores and leveling up for ran through women and leveling up for women that got kids by other men, what am I leveling up for? What am I literally, because let me tell you something, people, like, what my father got back in the day.
I dey go ball without you. I just say bye, then I miss you. Wanna control what I do. She's such a beauty with issues. Baby, we can make it so simple right now, yeah. Something in your past must be weighing you down. So your attitude, they be bossy. Feeling like the past keep on pulling back. Baby, me no longer the old me. I'd do anything just to hold you. Maybe you too bossy. I just wanna hear you say you want me. You know how to get me with that body. Baby, keep it simple, you too bossy. Girl, we go way back. Can't treat the love like a payback. Working on the trust, so I get that. Nothing come close to my baby. You've been through a lot, hate to see you down, yeah. Only thing that matter is we got now. So your attitude, they be bossy. Feeling like the past keep on pulling back. Baby, me no longer the old me. I'd do anything just to hold you. Maybe you bossy. I just wanna hear you say you want me. You know how to get me with that body. Baby, keep it simple, you too bossy. Maybe you too bossy. I just wanna hear you say you want me. You know how to get me with that body. Baby, keep it simple, you too bossy.
My addiction, this beauty nothing compares. She put me under her spell, yeah.
Cognitive dissonance is a condition that happens for a myriad of reasons. Many times in modern America, men and women often do one of the following. They deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue to ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message. And they will fight you or flee because they cannot hear what you are saying. And conditions such as this, tied into cognitive dissonance, often happens to those that have or lack self-awareness. They stay in a perpetual cycle of arrested development, exhibited by this.